My boyfriend says he's not ready for a relationship, yet gives his emotional intimacy, thoughtful gifts, and undivided attention to his female best friend. And I'm starting to realize I've never been the one he chooses, am I? So, 23 female, have been together with my boyfriend, 24 male, for a little over a year now. Overall, our relationship has been good. We don't live together, but we spend a lot of time together, and I've genuinely felt secure with him for most of our relationship. That's why what I'm about to describe hit me so hard. It wasn't just one moment. It was the slow realization that something about this dynamic doesn't sit right with me anymore. My boyfriend has a female best friend, 26 female. They've known each other since they were kids, school days, but from what I understand, they only really grew close during high school. They've always been part of the same friend group, but she was clearly his person long before I ever entered the picture. After high school, she moved to a big city to pursue her career. About a year later, my boyfriend followed her to the same city. He's told me more than once that the year they lived apart was really hard for them. That alone already made me pause a bit when I first heard it, but I brushed it off. I didn't want to be the insecure girlfriend reading into things that happened long before me. They hang out a lot. Or, at least, they used to hang out a lot more. They partied together often, sometimes pretty hard, heavier substances included. Over the last 6 months or so, that slowed down because of life stuff, career changes, responsibilities, etc. I don't want to go into too much detail because I'm trying to stay anonymous, but basically both of them had major career-related events that made their social lives quieter. Still, they remain very close. They go on a group vacation with their friends once a year, and they also do at least one vacation a year, just the two of them. That has always been framed to me as completely normal. They've always done that, so it's treated like I'm supposed to accept it as part of the package. One thing that's always made me a bit uncomfortable, but again I try not to make a big deal out of, is that they sometimes go to spas together. This includes nude saunas. Where we live, that's not unheard of culturally, but it's still very intimate to me. I try to tell myself it was just something they'd normalized over the years, and that I shouldn't project my own boundaries onto their friendship. Then came his birthday. For his birthday, his best friend gave him a card with a spa day invitation for him and me. She actually came up to me personally and told me she had heard that I'd never been to a spa before and thought it would be nice to gift us some couple time. She even said that the next time my boyfriend went to a spa with me, she'd cover the cost. I genuinely thought that was sweet. I was excited. I felt included, respected, and honestly relieved. It felt like a gesture that acknowledged me as his partner. But then, right after opening the card, my boyfriend immediately asked her if she wanted to join us. The timing couldn't have been worse. The words were barely out of her mouth before he turned to her and said it. Both of us just looked at each other with the same stunned expression, like a shared "did that really just happen?" moment. She awkwardly laughed it off and said, we'll see. But the damage was already done for me. That moment stuck in my chest like a rock. I tried to move on from it. I told myself maybe he didn't think before speaking. Maybe it was just habit. Maybe I was overreacting. Then, on a random day, right in the middle of what I believed was a very busy and stressful period for him professionally, he texted me something completely casually. No build-up. No context. Just, "Oh, have I told you that me and my female best friend are going to a spa on Thursday?" I swear, I felt something break inside me when I read that message. It wasn't just the spa. It was the way he said it, like it was an afterthought. Like it was information I didn't even really need to know. I felt blindsided. My mind immediately went back to the birthday card, to him inviting her into what was supposed to be a couple experience, to the nude saunas, to the vacations, to the fact that he once said living apart from her was one of the hardest years of his life. Unfortunately, I need to admit something that I'm not proud of. That day, I was around a family member who has been emotionally abusive to me in the past. I was already completely overwhelmed and breaking down, and they happened to see me pass by to grab tissues because I was crying so hard I could barely breathe. I felt weak. I felt lonely. And instead of protecting myself, I made the mistake of confiding in them about what was going on. What they said to me still echoes in my head. They told me, maybe she's his one that got away. Maybe he's loved her since the beginning, but was always too afraid to pursue her. Maybe she gave him a blowjob in high school, and he's never been able to forget it, never been able to stop thinking about what they could have been. It hit every single insecurity I already had. It felt like someone poured gasoline on a fire I was desperately trying to put out. And once those thoughts were planted, I couldn't stop spiraling. Because suddenly, so many things that I'd tried to brush off over the past year started screaming for attention. Why is he able to drop everything to go see her when she's not feeling well? Why does he go over to her place to make her soup, sit close to her on the couch, cuddle while watching their favorite series, do Lego sets together just to cheer her up, but doesn't show up for me that way? Why does he seem so emotionally available to her in a way that I've had to beg for at times? I keep replaying a specific moment in my head. Once, I was at her place with him, and I happened to glance at her computer screen. There was a photo open of the two of them sitting on a couch, hugging tightly. It wasn't a casual side hug. It looked intimate, familiar, comfortable. When he realized I had seen it, his face changed instantly. He looked shocked, almost guilty, like someone who had just been caught doing something they weren't supposed to. Without saying a word, he immediately skipped past the photo. That reaction alone has haunted me. If there was truly nothing there, why react like that? And then there's his apartment. He has a photo wall, a wall dedicated to what he calls his most fond memories. I remember standing there one day, really looking at it. There isn't a single photo of me. Not one. Not of us together, not even a casual snapshot. But nearly every photo includes her. Some are group photos, yes, but so many of them are just the two of them. Smiling. Close. Captured in moments that clearly meant something to him. I stood there feeling invisible. Like I was a placeholder in a story that had already been written long before I arrived. After a day of sitting with everything, I asked him if we could call. We're semi-long distance, so a lot of our heavier conversations happen over the phone. The moment I heard his voice, I broke down crying. I tried so hard to stay grounded and communicate in a healthy way. I'm very conscious about not accusing, not blaming, not cornering. I stick to I feel statements, I don't raise my voice, and I try to leave space for the other person to explain themselves. I told him how conflicted I felt. I said that on one hand, I'm glad he's able to be emotionally intimate and connected with someone. I know that emotional closeness doesn't come easily to him. He's told me before that he considers himself aromantic and that he struggles to feel a broad spectrum of emotions compared to most people, compared to his female best friend, compared to me, compared to what he sees in others. I've always tried to be understanding of that, to not demand something from him that he genuinely struggles to give. But I also told him that the situation hurt me. I asked him directly if he had used the birthday spa day voucher, the one his best friend gave him, to go to the spa with her. And yes, it was that voucher. The same one that she had presented as a gift meant for him and me. The one she told me was meant to give us some couple time. Hearing him confirm that he was planning to use it with her made my chest tighten all over again. I told him I felt hurt and uncomfortable that what I understood as a romantic couple's spa day was being used for him and his best friend instead. I explained that I genuinely thought, based on how she framed it and how gifts like that are usually given, that it was meant for us as a couple. I also admitted how deeply insecure I felt after what my family member had said to me. I told him I felt embarrassed even repeating it, but that the words had stuck in my head and made me feel like I was being emotionally cheated on. I cried again while saying it. I felt small and exposed, like I was confessing something shameful instead of sharing a valid hurt. He stayed calm throughout the call. He didn't get defensive or angry. He listened. He reassured me. He denied that there was anything romantic going on. He said it was all a misunderstanding. According to him, the spa day was never meant as a romantic couple's trip. It was simply an activity that he and his best friend used to do regularly and hadn't done in about half a year. He explained that the last time they went, he had given her a spa voucher and they still hadn't used that one yet. So now, they were using her voucher, and the plan was that the next time we would go together, we'd use his voucher. Logically, that explanation made sense. Emotionally, it didn't fully land, but I wanted to believe him. I wanted to trust that this was just a misunderstanding amplified by my own insecurities and outside influence. Eventually, the conversation calmed down. He reassured me again that I'm his partner, that he loves me in the way he's capable of loving, and that there's nothing romantic between him and his best friend. The next time we saw each other in person, he took me out on a date. It felt like an effort to show me he cared, to reconnect, to smooth things over. I appreciated that. I really did. But time kept passing. That spa day for us still hasn't happened. I've been waiting for it for about half a year now. Every now and then, it crosses my mind, and I feel a quiet sting of disappointment that I don't quite know how to articulate without sounding petty or demanding. And even though things were technically resolved, I still occasionally feel bad or jealous when I think about how deeply connected he and his best friend are. That feeling hasn't gone away. It just lives under the surface now. Then our anniversary came around. Shortly after, Valentine's Day was approaching. He asked me if we could skip gifts for Valentine's Day this year because he was out of ideas on what to give me. That hit me harder than I expected. He reminded me that the Christmas gift he gave me, which came before our anniversary, had been compromised because he was busy with his career and job. He had told me back then that he'd make it up to me with a more special gift for our anniversary, or my birthday. When our anniversary came, I did receive gifts, and I don't want to turn this into a competition, but I did put more effort and money into it than he did. He said one specific gift hadn't arrived yet, and that it would instead become my birthday gift. I accepted that. I really try to be understanding. But now, hearing that we should compromise on Valentine's Day because he's out of ideas just made everything feel lopsided. I feel jealous because he has an entire notes app list dedicated to gift ideas for his best friend, and I remember him saying almost proudly, "It's so long, I don't think I'll ever be able to buy, get, or make her all of them." That sentence has been echoing in my head for months. Meanwhile, when it comes to me, he's out of ideas for Valentine's Day. Not because he doesn't care, he says, but because he's busy, overwhelmed, and not used to being in a relationship yet. On Christmas, he handmade the most beautiful, thoughtful gift for his female best friend. I accidentally saw it hidden behind his couch before he gave it to her, and I hate admitting this, but I stood there hoping, praying, that it was meant for me. It wasn't. For me, he gave something nice, but not nearly as intentional. And again, I want to be clear, this is not about money or extravagance. I don't care about expensive things. What hurts is the intention, the effort, the emotional labor behind it. For him, I made one of the most personal gifts I've ever made anyone. I documented our entire year together, from the beginning, all our memories, little moments, inside jokes, and I added a handwritten letter in the back where I confessed my love for the first time in my life. I was terrified and vulnerable in a way I had never been before. When he read it, he didn't say anything. He kissed me all over my face, yes, but he didn't say "I love you" back. And ever since then, I keep wondering if he ever will. We're each other's first relationship. I've been patient. I've tried to be understanding. I've told myself over and over that he just needs time. But at some point, patience starts to feel like self-abandonment. Recently, he said he's still not used to being in a relationship and that we'll talk about it some other time. This came up because I asked if we could do a relationship check-in, not an argument, not an accusation, just an intentional conversation to see where we're at, what we need, and whether we're on the same page. That request alone seemed to overwhelm him. Now I'm stuck in this painful in-between space. I don't want to pressure him into something he's not ready for. But I also don't want to wait indefinitely while he pours emotional energy, thoughtfulness, and creativity into someone else, even if she's just his best friend. I don't want to become resentful, insecure, or smaller just to make this work. So I'm asking myself, and honestly Reddit too, is there a way to create a compromise where he gets the time he needs to figure himself out, while I still get what I need to feel safe and secure in this relationship? Is it reasonable to ask for clarity within a certain time frame without turning it into an ultimatum? And is my jealousy about the effort he puts into his friendship actually valid, or is this something I need to work through on my own? Because I love him. But I'm starting to wonder if love alone is enough when I feel like I'm always waiting to be chosen.